All right, I'm going to make a video on this because it seems that they're kind of hard to find for some reason on YouTube. And this is the 4L, this will make your 4L80 transmission shift with a ratchet shifter, or even just a regular shifter you have in your car, whatever it may be. If you put it in first, it'll be in first, second, etc. Okay? It just so happens that there's a combination of wiring that you can do external and internal that will do this for you for basically the cost of some butt connectors or whatever you'll use to connect your wires. And then, yeah, so we'll go over that part first, and then I'll add a few things you can do to make it even better. So this is the back side of your connector, your transmission connector, right? So there's a really early generation that this will apply to as well, but you'll have to identify the different pinout for that because I don't have that. And I think that's like somewhere around the mid 90s and earlier, like 95 and earlier, or 94, something like that. And you'll see the different connector color. I think it's a black connector. So this is for gray stuff. This is most of everything that you'll be seeing nowadays. I don't think a lot of the early transmissions are used a lot anymore. Anyways, A and B, these are the two wires that is shift solenoid A and B. And when one of those is grounded, you get a gear. When one of them's grounded, you get another gear. When neither of them are grounded, you get another gear. And when they're both grounded, you get another gear. So the way that works is, like, first is A, second is neither grounded. When I say they're grounded, that means they're activated because these are all switched to ground. Third gear is B only, and then fourth is both. It just so happens that there's a switch in the transmission called the pillow switch, and it's actually what reports to the PCM what gear the manual valve is in, and the manual valve is connected to your detent lever and your shifter, right? So it just so happens, real simple, that pillow switch has some outputs here that we're going to work on. It's on the third row, okay? And it's the pink, man, we can help you. Let me move to the wall so this focusing doesn't keep adjusting. There we go. So if you look, it should be N, P, and R. Okay. So you're going to take A, the green guy, and you're going to connect him all together with your pink and your blue, like so. All right. And I use this like solder heat shrink contraption. That's really cool. So that's N, R, and A, right? And then you're going to take B and P, which is your red and your yellow with the black, connect those. Okay? That's what you're going to do. Bang. All right? Those are all connected. Then this varies on some as well, but this one is E, that larger gauge pink wire. That's 12 volts. So ignition, 12 volts on that wire, and you're done. You do those things, it'll shift. All right? But you'll have full line pressure. And when I'm talking full transmission line pressure, and that can be a little violent. It can actually break things. So one last step that you can do here is locate these two wires here. And it's this blue with white and this red with black on this particular one. And it looks like it's position C and D. Okay? These wires connect to your pressure control solenoid. All right? These operate on a hertz frequency. I'm not quite familiar with it, but I'll tell you what I ended up doing. Is getting one of these doohickeys. This is a pulse width modulating control. And I've got it all kind of wrapped up now, so it didn't ground on itself, but you're going to, my connector pulled apart. That's why I'm actually working on this again. These two wires you'll connect to your C&D that we just showed you. This is the control, right? And then you need to power it with those other two wires. So you'll see on the back of this, you know what, I have another one that I actually use for testing injectors. Where is it? These are pretty handy for doing things. Here we go. There you go. Power ground for both motor and function. And like I said, I use this one for testing injectors, and it works really well. But you can dial this in, dial your pressure control solenoid in, and actually get some pressure control, which will help save the tranny hard parts from breaking. But that's it. So that's one little extra step I would recommend doing. There are some things you should be doing to the pump and stuff, but if you don't have it out, it doesn't really matter. Murphy's Law, like, look at these, you know, wires just find whatever they can to grab onto. It's quite amazing. So I know I went through it slow. For the sake of everything, we'll go through one more time. A connected to N and R. Is it N? Yep. A connected to N and R. And then P connected to B. A connected to N and R. P connected to B and P connected. And it will ground through the case. And then run your power wire, which is E. Right? That's it. Get her done.